Welcome back to the Senior Leadership Podcast. I am joined with myself, Adam.
Myself, Aoife.
Myself, Brandon.
And we are joined by another special guest. We have Ms Synnott on.
Hi guys.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for
for having me.
So, before we start, our last guest gave us a question to ask you. So, what is the thing you like most about Woodbrook?
Okay, there's a good one to start. I think it's the student body. So the diversity of talent among the student body. We have such a variety just of students in the school, like between the talent on the sporting scene with League of Ireland players or internationals. We had a student perform in the West End in London. We have students reaching grade 6 in piano, as well as high academic achievers like we saw from the Leaving Cert last year and the last number of years. So I just think there's a lot of diversity within the student body.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So before we get into the depths of our podcast, it would be great if you could tell everyone a little bit about yourself. What subjects do you teach? And seeing as today's episode is about extracurricular activities, maybe a little bit about your own extra interest outside of school.
Okay, so I teach PE and maths. I suppose when I was in school growing up, I would have just gotten involved I was just into any sport that I could be involved in. Yeah. So basketball, Gaelic, badminton. In more recent years, I'm still playing netball. So in more recent years, more of my adult life, I took up netball. Now, to be honest, I took that up. I moved to Vietnam to teach for a few years, and I took it up to make friends. Easiest way to make friends, there's a ready-made team of friends for you to hang out with. But as I progressed in the sport, I ended up coming back to Ireland and made the national team, so played for Ireland for a few years. But why I'm even bringing that up is because what I want to kind of promote here is it's never too late to take up a skill. Like, I have a conversation daily or weekly with students that say, oh, well, how's your football the weekend? Oh, I don't play anymore. Oh, I gave that up. So at the age of 13, 14, that's not the end. It doesn't have to be the end. You can take up a skill at any age. So I'm still very heavily involved in the netball, and I'm not playing the Irish squad anymore, but I'm playing club and love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what is your role in extracurricular activities in Woodbrook College?
My role? Well, as a coach, I'm coaching the girls' basketball, and also the volleyball. So now, as the coordinator, we have 21 clubs in Woodbrook College currently, which was an increase of 4 from last year. So that requires a huge team of dedicated teachers that provide a range of activities. So I coordinate the program, and everybody else in the school carries it out. Yeah. So, like, I'm coordinated to ensure that we offer a range of activities to all students. And also I quite like looking into patterns of when dropout levels happen and why they happen, to try and encourage students to stay in extracurricular.
Yeah. And what made you interested in that role, and why is it important to you?
To me, school's not just about the academic. So you guys are here in school to develop social skills, to develop resilience. Like, life is tough, but it's about developing the skills to cope with situations, and that's across the board, like whether it be in school or later in life. And I feel like it's the non-academic part of school that helps you develop those skills.
Okay, so I have a question. If you're on a short trip in a taxi and the taxi driver asks you to describe the type of extracurricular activities available in Woodbrook, how would you describe it to him?
I would describe it, there's so much variety. So how I would describe it is I would compare our school to Penny's, and I would compare other schools to Zara. So Penny's is a shop that provides and supplies everything to both genders, to whether you want, it's not just one style fits all. So I just feel like that's what we provide here between music, sport, hobbies, club, chess. There is something for everyone,
Yeah.
and if there isn't, we're trying behind the scenes to develop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously extracurricular with the sport, but there's something for everyone if they're not sporty. So I think that's quite
Yeah, like
important.
hobbies.
for people.
clubs.
Yeah, I hope there is. That's what we're trying to provide, really, because not everybody's into sport. Me, I am into sport. I came from a sporting background,
Yeah,
but I understand that that's not the case for everybody.
yeah, exactly.
And why are extracurricular activities important to school life and work at college?
I kind of mentioned resilience earlier. Like, I'll just take a basketball or a sporting example. If you're out on the basketball court and you're 10 points down in a match, like, giving up is not an option.
No.
Blaming the ref is not an option. Blaming your teammates only makes things worse. So I feel like all of these extracurricular activities, they teach you how to deal with emotional situations.
Yeah,
Like, whether at the age of a teenager or maybe the younger ones understand that doesn't really matter at the minute, but that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to develop these skills, and like, learning a new skill teaches you dedication. Like, you don't learn how to play the guitar overnight. Like, your first touch isn't perfect because you've gone to 10 training sessions. Do you know? Like, the hours that you've put in to get to the position you are in, Aoife, and many others in school, is hours and hours. So I feel like they're the skills that we're learning when we commit ourselves to learning a new skill.
Yeah, doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. No.
So, from our perspective, extracurricular activities play such a huge role in student life in Woodbrook College, and there is such a wide range of activities available to students. But what do you think we as student leaders can do to encourage even more participation in these activities?
I think you're doing a great job, I must say that, just
Yeah.
while we're on that.
Thank you very much.
I think the leadership team over the last few years has really helped me in the extracurricular role and in other areas of school life. I think for example, the current futsal competition that you
Yeah.
guys are organising, so organising the fixtures, organise the teams, umpiring, so you're reffing, you're
Yeah.
coaching. I think that alone encourages like a non-competitive environment for students in the school, which encourages them to maybe take part in those activities.
Gets people interested in the sport, even though if they weren't before. Kind of like the fun aspect of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good feedback to get.
Yeah. Most people would think, oh, sport, it has to be very competitive, but like
It can just be
you
fun.
have to enjoy it too.
And
want
we
to
need
play.
exercise for health.
Yeah.
Now, we won't even get into that today. I'll
Yeah.
come back for part two.
Right.
But yeah, we need those.
Yeah.
We need those outlets, and I think those are the competitions that I would like to develop further.
Yeah.
And we did a number of sporting ones last year. But I would quite like to do that in a non-sporting aspect also.
Yeah, yeah.
I know we took in chess this year, for example, and we could start doing a lunchtime chess tournament, let's say, do you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the area that I would like to develop.
Okay.
So before we end our second podcast, would you be able to leave us a question for our next guest?
Yes. Yes. My question is, we often hear the best time to take up a new skill was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. So what skill have you always thought about taking up, and would you give it a go now?
I like that question a lot. Thank you very much. So, thank you very much for listening to our second podcast, and we will be back soon.
Thanks, guys.